My name is Nasim.
People like me are not good for big businesses.
There's a victim at the front of the building.
Hello and welcome. We are going to take a deep dive into a surreal and haunting story that left a profound impact not on the YouTube community, but on YouTube itself. It's a tale that is both inspiring and tragic, painting a picture of a girl whose journey took a dark and destructive turn, ultimately leading to her demise. This is the bizarre tale of a YouTuber who, despite being deeply religious and an animal activist, found herself being personally attacked by YouTube. Her unconventional views on life clashed with YouTube guidelines, prompting her to take drastic measures. Yesil's decision to launch an attack on YouTube itself shook the platform to its core, leaving quite a mark. Today we are going to talk about her upbringings, motives behind her bizarre YouTube channel, and most importantly to take a look at how the attack was executed. Sorry for making this video only about her, but this was a story I wanted to dedicate a whole video to it. If you enjoy this type of content, please smash that like button, consider subscribing to my channel, because there are plenty of videos like this on my channel, and I post on a weekly basis. So let's dive in together into this rabbit hole about Yesil Nasim, the YouTuber who executed an armed attack at the YouTube headquarters. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy this video.
And just remember 16 money.
This tale begins in the fascinating country of Iran, located in southwestern Asia, a land with rich history, culture and a prominent geopolitical influence within the Middle East region. But I wanna focus on a specific city called Urmia, which is also the 10th largest city in Iran, and it's where our story begins. On April 5th, 1979, Nasim Najafi Akdam was born. There isn't much about her past, besides the things we could find throughout her videos. She mostly had a normal and happy childhood, with nothing out of the ordinary. A thing that we need to mention is that she and her family were registered members of the Baha'i faith. To understand her a bit more, we need to take a short look at the Baha'i religion. It is a relatively new religion established in the early 19th century in the Middle East. This religion is all about unity amongst people. Baha'i advocate for elimination of racism, sexism, nationalism, and promoting instead of a vision of global harmony and prosperity for all. And if I'm correct, vegetarianism and veganism does align with their beliefs, but it's not something you need to be the part of the religion. But Yesil took veganism very seriously, even at the age of 7. Later she would even attack people because of it, even if attacking people isn't a part of her beliefs. She started to be a vegan at her own will, and it wasn't something that the family practiced. Because of this they would often argue with her, and Nasim would often complain to the family about it. She believed that animals are like humans and their lives are equally important.
Pain, sadness, hate, crime, sour food. Oh my brain, look at that meat. It looks like your next heart attack. Life's a game.
In the same way how the religion is spreading its word of unity and equal rights. If I'm correct, this religion wasn't so welcome in Iran because over 200 people were executed because of believing in it. Again, if somebody knows a bit more about this religion, comment down below. Because of this, or because of a job opportunity, Yesil's father found work in the US, and they moved together as a family in 1996. Immigration is often pursued with hopes of better future, but the transition can be very challenging, especially when faced with cultural differences. As someone who also moved to another country, cultural differences can be hard sometimes. The Akdam family definitely had it hard in the beginning, but especially Nasim. The problem was she never wanted to fit into the Western world of San Diego. She was 16 at the time, and her life was already confusing enough as being a teenager. She rejected the norms and values of her new environment. She didn't want to learn English at first, and she would even continue to speak Farsi, her native tongue, in the school. As a result of that, she didn't have many friends in the school. And because of this, the American dream turned into an American nightmare, at least so it seemed. Now Nasim did something that would even further her isolation from people around her. She would dive into the world of internet, where she could speak up about the problems that bother her. As she was growing up, her love for animals was stronger by the day. She also became more obsessed with animal rights, joining the ranks of the PETA activists, leading her to participate even in protests and demonstrations against meat eaters, as she called them. There was an article at that time that really upset PETA and also Nasim. It's about how Marines would use pigs for various experiments. They would put the pigs under anesthesia and then cut them, stab them, then trying to heal them. It basically served as a form of psychological training for the Marines, helping them to prepare for potential scenarios that they may encounter in action. The goal of this training was to prevent them being shocked and to be desensitized to challenging situations. The pigs would obviously be euthanized after this process. But PETA stated this training was unethical and inhuman. This is something I don't want to address in this video. What important is that Yesil went to the protest and she was even interviewed that day and she stated, "For me, animal rights equal human rights." She wore jeans with blood drops which probably present the blood of the animals being spilled, but also a freaking sword. Why the sword? Your guess is good as mine. Yesil very quickly became a part of the San Diego animal rights scene, but also she felt that she could do even more by spreading her message online.
Do you dare not to kill for passion, not to wear bloody fashion?
She slowly started to disappear from the gatherings and focus more on her online activity. Her mother even stated that Yesil was completely disconnected from the real world and that she would often choose to be alone online than anything else. Even neighbors would tell how they don't see Yesil so often around, mostly because she was working on her projects indoors. In 2010, Nasim decided to tackle the problems of the world by creating a YouTube account, where she could preach with passion about all the things that bother her. She made an account under the name Vegan Nasim, where she would identify as a Persian, vegan, bodybuilder and an animal rights activist. And she had an Instagram account where she stated she's a dancer, actor, singer, poet. Well, she was everything at once, I guess. The videos were often very bizarre and different from one another, and they were unique in their own way. Because of this, she managed to get a nice following. Nasim decided to expand her reach with 3 additional YouTube channels. One catering to English, Turkish speaking and native Farsi audiences. It's just crazy how much content Nasim would put out, but it was mostly quantity over quality. But the videos she posted were mostly based on animal rights and preaching on a healthy lifestyle, fitness and so on. Nasim had also 2 sites, one of them called NasimABC.com and the other one was called NasimSebs.com. Both of the sites were defunct now. The sheer volume of content and online activity managed by Nasim is staggering. I mean, 4 YouTube accounts, the one I mentioned already, then the Nasim Handmaids where she presented her crafts, and then the Nasim Sebs site which was just centered around her, and the last one account was under the name Yesil Nasim, which was an account for Turkish speaking audience. And like I said, the Instagram account, and she also had a Telegram account. How she managed to keep this all under control is just beyond me. I'm struggling to keep up with 1 video per week and I'm losing my sanity, and I'm not even exaggerating. Balancing work, life and YouTube as a hobby is just too much. But Yesil had apparently figured it out. And here goes a conspiracy theory. After researching her videos, honestly she looks like an NPC, and one from Oblivion at that, like some form of an AI animatronic. It's crazy. She even stated that life in America is like heaven if you're superficial. The videos are quite something. Her channel is obviously down, but there are some archives online which you can research for yourself if you want to go down this rabbit hole. And I promise the things you will see will alter your vision of how you see life.
Neymiş, nasıl yapılmış bu ceket? Sadece giyerim, poz verelim aptallar gibi.
The videos are quite something, am I right? But she managed to get over 10k subs with her first channel, and by achieving this milestone, she has been accepted to the YouTube Partner Program, which means that she could finally earn some money with YouTube. She managed to get quite a following, even if her videos were all over the place. But again, mostly based on animal rights, and YouTube eventually noticed her and gave her chance in the feed. If my sources are correct, she had over 20k subs on all 3 channels combined. Also, a funny thing to mention is, again, this is self-proclaimed, that she is the most famous Persian animal activist online. This led even to her being featured on the national Turkish TV. Because she posted very often and had few channels, she was obviously making some cash through YouTube. But I think the people from her home country thought of her as a meme. But again, speculations, because you saw the videos, am I right? Because Nasim posted very often and had few channels, she obviously made some cash through YouTube, even though she was still living with her parents. But she suffered a very hard hit in 2016, not only her but many others. This was the crazy time of the adpocalypse of 2016, where YouTube started to demonetize violent and edgy stuff and channels that would break copyright laws. Now, I hope you're somewhat familiar with what happened. If not, a small summary would be that YouTube started to ban and also demonetize many videos, including whole channels. And YouTubers would also get less money through ads if they post edgy stuff, or none at all. That resulted Nasim's channels would almost be completely demonetized, and she would earn 10 times less like she normally would. She even posted her analytics online to see, and she earned through a 300,000k video only 10 cents. Her content was surreal, but I failed to mention that it was also very graphic and violent. She would also include various words in her title like murder, rape, abuse. And those are things that YouTube didn't like at all. This could even lead that your channel would be shadow banned, so people can't see your content without typing your name directly in the search bar. And this is also a friendly reminder to subscribe to the channel if you didn't already. Nasim, because of this, felt personally attacked, because YouTube apparently tried to silence her.
I'm being discriminated and filtered on YouTube. People like me are not good for big businesses. And my old videos that used to get many views stopped getting views.
Being vegan or vegetarian is a personal choice, but she really tried to push her agenda hard on everybody. Because her videos started to become more violent and more graphic over time, YouTube didn't like that one bit. After all, YouTube is still a public platform, and people would often wonder if she's mentally ill, where she would state, "I don't have any special mental or physical disease, but I do live on a planet filled with diseases, disorders, perversions and injustice." Because YouTube underwent a major change in 2017, her 4 YouTube channels suddenly started to get less exposure, and then she started to publicly show her YouTube analysis, and like I said, how her 300k view video only got her 10 cents. This made Yesil very angry. But everybody who is a bit into YouTube knows that graphic videos doesn't do well with the algorithm. But this didn't stop that Nasim would compare YouTube with a very infamous guy I don't want to mention now because of the guidelines, but you know who I'm talking about. This brings us to March 31, 2018. Nasim family reported to the police that Nasim was missing. But this was not the first time she went missing. This would often happen as Nasim would argue with her father, mostly about her and his beliefs. So she would run off to cool for a bit. But this time, the family felt that something horrible would happen. Her father contacted the police to file a missing person report. He proceeded to tell the police that she could be a harm to herself and others. Because she hasn't any history of mental disorders, the police didn't think much about this. But the thing that Nasim's father did know is that Nasim purchased and registered a 9mm Smith & Wesson semi-automatic pistol from a San Diego gun dealer on January 16, 2018. He also stated to the police that she would protest against YouTube and it would be wise that the police check up on her. The police noted the information told by the father. She was then later found in a parking lot of a Walmart in Mountain View, around 30 miles away from the YouTube headquarters. This happened because the police saw the white Pontiac just parked around in the night, and they checked the registrations of the car and quickly realized this is for a fact Nasim.
Yeah, but the thing is that we sometimes get people that park their stolen vehicles here, and so we run all the plates that are out in the parking lot, and when he ran the plate, it came back to you, but it came back as a missing person.
Because she was an adult and wasn't presenting any harm to the police or to herself or any other, she couldn't be forced to go home. They questioned her further to see if she's mentally stable, and everything was alright. Before I show you the police video where they interviewed Nasim, it is a very chilling feeling to know that only a few hours after this video this girl wouldn't be alive anymore.
Are you taking any type of medication at all? Are you supposed to take medication? Okay. You don't want to hurt yourself, do you? Oh, you don't want to hurt anybody else? You don't want to commit suicide like that, right? Okay. Are you ever planning on going back home? No? Okay, fair enough. We're just going to let them know that you're fine and you wish not to be contacted. And we check your well, we have to tell. Okay. Is there anything you want us to tell your parents? Okay.
Okay. Alrighty.
You're welcome.
Now, as I showed you some of the highlights of the clips to make my point across, the whole video is obviously online if you want to check it out. What was important that the police checked her well-being and she was in a good state of mind. The police kindly asked her if she needed to take any medication. She looked the police in the eye and said no. But the funny thing to notice is when she was asked if she is going to hurt herself or somebody, she avoided the eye contact and looked at her phone. Lack of eye contact could indicate she was obviously on a set plan. The officers did not identify her as a threat. However, it is very unclear if the police was aware of the concerns of Nasim's father.
I googled the Mountain View. It was close to the YouTube headquarters. So, and she had a problem with YouTube. So we called that cop again and told him that there's a reason she went all the way from San Diego to that. I didn't know she has a gun.
And for a fact they certainly didn't know about her YouTube presence and point of view. Perhaps if they analyzed her videos, maybe this would play out a bit differently. The 3rd of April 2018. On this day, Nasim traveled with her white Pontiac from Mountain View to San Bruno. This is around a 30 minutes ride. The first thing she visited is a local shooting range, where she was obviously preparing for her next step. After the shooting range, she decided to go to a parking structure to park her car located just across the YouTube headquarters. Nasim managed to get through an exterior parking garage and then approached the outdoor patio. There were like plenty of people out there having their lunch break. Nasim then decided to pull out her Smith & Wesson and started to randomly fire at the crowd with no set target. She just wanted to kill as many people as she could.
Active shooter at 901 Cherry.
A thing to note is that at 12:46 p.m. San Bruno police received reports of a shooter at the YouTube headquarters.
Just confirming one shooter still outstanding. One of the witnesses. 17.
And just like 3 minutes later, the police was already at the headquarters. Nasim in the meantime managed to wound 3 people. After Nasim heard the police, she was locked in and she couldn't escape. Because there is no way out, she took the Smith & Wesson, pointed at her heart and shot. Nasim died only 2 days before her 39th birthday. Just a note to add, after the abduction was done, there was no evidence of drugs or alcohol found in her system. All the 3 victims that were shot by Yesil made a full recovery. This is a sad story of a girl who grappled with inner turmoil and confusion. driven perhaps by good intentions but ultimately resorting to extreme and harmful actions. Feeling silenced by YouTube, she lashed out in an attempt to be heard. At the end, Yesil did kill, but only herself. The aftermath of that is that her voice will be silenced forever. Yesil's state of mind became tragically evident in her decision to attack YouTube. Despite her somewhat good intentions of sharing light on certain things, she finally received the attention, but this type of attention was for the wrong reasons. This marks the end of this video. Thanks so much for sticking to the end. I hope you enjoyed this video where we looked at one person in depth, and I'm also thinking about continuing to cover people in such format. Please let me know what you think about this. There are plenty of videos like this on my channel to explore until the next Sunday, where I have prepared something special for you. At least I hope I will manage to make the video in time. I've been Snorky, and until the next deep dive, stay safe please.